When the floodwaters receded, physical structures remained. Stone structures still stood. Carved monuments were still intact. Astronomical alignments still pointed toward the sky. The positions of the sun, moon, and stars still matched these structures. Early survivors noticed this. They did not understand how these structures were designed, but they could see that they worked. Stone calendars still marked seasonal changes. Large foundations remained level and stable. Certain locations aligned precisely with sunrise and solstice events. As new settlements formed nearby, people reused what already existed. They followed existing measurements instead of creating new ones. They rebuilt on old foundations instead of starting from scratch. They copied proportions that appeared consistent across older structures. These systems were used before their methods were understood. People did not calculate the mathematics behind them. They repeated the results. As long as the systems worked, no one questioned their origin. Over time, these inherited systems became part of daily life. Land was divided using established measurements. Time was organized using inherited calendars. Construction followed ratios already embedded in stone. At first, nothing appeared wrong. The structures remained stable. The calendars remained accurate. The measurements continued to produce consistent results. But these systems began to influence behavior. Certain days were treated as fixed and unchangeable. Specific measurements became official standards. Older structures were treated as authoritative references. Because no one understood how the systems were created, they could not be adjusted. Errors could not be corrected. Mistakes were repeated. The original reasoning was no longer accessible. Instead of being taught, these systems were followed. Repeated actions became fixed practices. Fixed practices became rituals. Geometry was no longer taught as mathematics. It was treated as sacred pattern. Astronomy was no longer studied through observation. It was treated as symbolic sign. Architecture was no longer engineered through experimentation. It was treated as inherited design. This is how understanding was replaced with repetition. During this period, figures like Thoth appear in Egyptian tradition. Thoth is not described as the creator of this ancient knowledge. He is described as the one who recorded it. He standardized writing so information could be copied. He standardized measurement so construction could be consistent. He organized calendars so societies could coordinate time. These systems allowed civilization to function again. People could trade. They could plan agriculture. They could govern territories. But these systems did not restore the original methods used to create the older structures. They only allowed people to operate what already existed. As these systems became more important, access to them became restricted. Only trained scribes recorded measurements. Only select individuals maintained calendars. Only certain builders worked on sacred structures. This was not done to hide information. It was done because incorrect use caused instability. Over time, symbols replaced instruction. Images were used instead of explanations. Stories replaced calculations. Warnings replaced technical detail. The serpent appears in multiple cultures as a symbol associated with knowledge. It represents danger and transformation. It does not explain how to use knowledge. It warns that knowledge can cause harm if mishandled. As access narrowed, systems became protected through tradition. Progression replaced teaching. Ritual replaced experimentation. This pattern repeated across civilizations. Advanced structures remained. Original methods were lost. Later societies inherited results without understanding how to recreate them. The lesson is not that knowledge disappeared. The lesson is that understanding did. When knowledge is used without knowing how it works, it becomes difficult to control. And when control is lost, access is reduced. This cycle has repeated many times throughout history. Collapse, reuse, standardization, restriction. And it raises one final question. If this pattern continues whenever civilizations inherit knowledge they did not create, then what stage of the cycle are we in now? In the next episode, we will examine how access to knowledge became regulated, how training, symbols, and initiation replaced direct explanation, and how that decision reshaped later civilizations.